स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमि स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So friends, let us pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, thou abidest in all, thou art all, thou assumest all forms, thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge and bliss. Salutations unto thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Let us close our eyes. Let us concentrate on the unchanging core of our being, closing our sense organs to all the changing phenomena. My true nature is changeless. It changes not in time nor in space. I am all-pervading, eternal, ever perfect, ever blissful. Existence itself. When not identified, with the deceptive, changing names and forms, I am the true life, I am divine. I am perfection. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Om. Asatu ma sadgamaya tamasu ma jyotirgamaya mrityurmam amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti, Shanti. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, and from this limited mortal existence to the immortal, all-pervading, true existence. Om, peace, peace, peace. This short but very prominent Vedic prayer tells us how our life we want to orient. Where should it lead? We say in this prayer that yes, we are stuck in the unreal. So we want to go from unreal to the real. It is, what it means is I am in unreal. I feel that. The names and forms, I and mine, here and now, I am kind of stuck in that. And I see that that is not the real. Because it keeps on shifting and changing, I cannot actually catch it. So it is just like appearance. And so I want to have the vision, or I want to get established in that which is real, true. Also, I am ignorant because I keep on searching for knowledge, and all sorts of worldly knowledge that I get, I keep on gathering and gathering. As I see, as a human being, we have been gathering lot of knowledge. But that knowledge is firstly about the objects which change, and therefore that knowledge also is not much significant, and also knowing all that really is not enough. It is not true knowledge at all. So I want to get the true knowledge. Here I just change the label. Ignorance, I label it as knowledge. Whereas I want true, supreme knowledge. And I want the immortal existence. Here, my journey, I am sure I am going to die. Today or tomorrow, one day everybody has to die. And what we call life is just marching towards death. What we call living could as well be called as dying, because every moment we are approaching towards the certain death. So, I am dying and I call it living. But I want the life that is eternal life. I want the immortality. So, this is how we feel that our life should be. And all religion, in fact all ethics, morality also, is filling the gap between what is and what should be. We have an understanding of both, what is, and we have some kind of a hazy but a vision of what should be. And so we try to fill the gap, change our life, and this is what the journey is. But we do not find that on our own we can reach there. Wherever actually we want to go, because the ladder with which we want to climb, that ladder goes up to a stage and then it is broken. Now I cannot climb it anymore. Uh, because I see that somehow I am stuck with the senses and the intellect and the mind. And then beyond that I cannot go. It is described that that our evolution, our this ladder of evolution, and we are evolving, and the goal of this evolution is to arrive at that divinity. In one word, whatever we want, we can call it the divine or God. It is, you can, if you don't like the word God or divine, you can call it that it is the absolute existence, absolute consciousness, absolute bliss. We seek that, and in that search we evolve, as it were, climbing step after step. And the physical evolution, evolution of species, as Darwin has termed it, and many other evolutionists, although they differ from Darwin in some respects, they agree that it is, this is how the evolution goes, for struggle for existence, and then that species, that the choice for the right kind of mating. So that is what keeps on promoting this evolution from amoeba right up to human being. We have been climbing these ladders. I will connect it to the concept of evolution according to yoga system of the 6 chakras, the 6 stages in which that evolution goes. So the first, the lowest 2 chakras, they are figuratively described at the anus and then the sex organ. It is at these 2 levels. The first level is just you are existing and trying to hold on to your existence. Even there is no that force to procreate. It is just holding on to the existence. There is no desire for progeny and so forth. So there is no enjoyment sense that let me enjoy. And then when that evolution takes place, then a person and all creatures, they procreate. And that is one level. You have evolved from just protection to get food, to multiply your species, and then that is common to all known living creatures, living in the sense, living as a combination of protoplasmic cells. So there it is all common, right from the amoeba to human beings. These stages, these first 2 stages are same, common. But then there is a further evolutionary step that is taken by human being. They start climbing on this stiff ladder because they now have that engine which the other species didn't have to climb. That ladder becomes available for human beings. So that is, that accumulating the knowledge of the nature and then utilizing that knowledge for changing the quality of our life, increasing our dominance on the planet, acquire this various sciences, engineering, techniques in so many different fields have been developed by human beings to make the life in a way more comfortable. Imagine, the life people were living, staying somehow in caves and then hunting by the most primitive weapons like stones and whatever beasts were available, somehow eating that animal. From there, now we have an elaborate way of, growing and cooking food that gets more easily digestible, more nutritious, and so forth. We live now not in somewhere in the cave, but in huge high-story buildings with so many different amenities that those primitive human beings could not even dream of. We have educational system, Medicare, so that medical caring system, all the governance is there, economics is there. Look at it, that it is a huge step in evolution. And that is pictured, how much we can grow in that. That is given by the chakra, that is shown figuratively as residing where our navel is. It is figurative description. Do not try to, see if I can find a chakra by performing a surgery there. No. It is the growth along the spinal column is shown. It is the growth of our awareness as to who am I. So as one sees that I am a human being, I arrive where I can rise up to that it is, I can conquer this whole universe, maximum, all the visible universe. You may think I'll conquer Earth, but that's not just enough. I will put my empire on Moon and on Mars and many other planets. I can go beyond that also. Okay, all that is granted. All that is having your what is called Kundalini, the evolutionary force that has taken you from the level of a mere like a stone-like life, or just life that protects itself to some extent. That's it. But from there to the level where you have the urge to expand, to procreate, to hunt for food, and then grow further in acquiring various glories. So you develop sciences, technologies, arts. See how much musical art, visual art people have developed. And it is going on. So the development of arts, sciences, and so forth, the society is drastically changed. If you see these two pictures of a very primitive cave-living human beings society and the society, say, of present-day America or China or so many other highly developed regions. So it is drastically different. and it will grow further in that area. It is not that we have reached the zenith of it. It is one can have the kingdom put on Mars, on some other planets, or whatever. One can get all that glory. The Hindu scriptures, Vedanta tells that how much you can grow there. Maybe you can become like a demigod who kind of controls this external universe. Up to that you can become. But then, you see, where do I really change? My happiness hasn't really changed. My activities have changed. But did I get the goal of my activities? And instead of sleeping in the cave, I am sleeping, say, in one of those luxurious towers. But what difference does it make in sleep? It is sometimes it is amazing to see in various places people work hard, right from morning till afternoon. They are working on a farm on a very hot day, and then after that they take a break for lunch when the sun is now very hot and difficult to work out. So they take a break and they take their lunch, and then a person just lies down under the tree and starts snoring, has a very good sleep. It may not be possible for somebody lying on a very nice, beautiful, luxurious bed in one of those, say, even gold-plated and diamond-studded bedrooms. I may not get that kind of sleep. So, therefore, what qualitative change has been achieved in all this transition? One starts thinking, has my happiness increased? It is a question that one cannot answer affirmatively. Has my satisfaction increased? No. It is still, I feel, who am I? That question has not been answered. What is this world about? That question still remains to be unanswered. So I must grow more. I have to now change the quality of the growth. Going in the same line and say, what difference will it make? Instead of having ownership of 10 towers, I get ownership of 100 towers. What difference does it make? Instead of having the kingdom of earth, I further added the kingdom of, say, moon and Mars and Jupiter, whatever. What difference did it make to my inner satisfaction? My cravings still continue. And so you start thinking certain basic ideas that where is this happiness? What is then, again question comes, what is ultimately real? And we find that we cannot really go beyond this apparatus. Our ladder can take us only up to the level where our mental, physical, intellectual abilities can take. Up to that we can go, not beyond that. And what do we get by going along those abilities? Friends, this is an important question that we must ask ourselves. What ultimately can we get? Think about that. Whatever is within the grasp of our brain, our body, and whatever thoughts we can get in our mind, up to that we can get. That's it. But it is just a change in shape, a little different variety, that's all. The cosmetically altered things, that's all. They do not actually change the quality. It does not drastically make a difference in my becoming truly happy, satisfied, and the quality of my knowledge also just remains the same. Whatever I can understand with this instrument called brain, I am tied to that. It is good to use it, but it is terrible to get tied, confined by that. And that confinement reaches to such a deplorable level that one starts feeling that, well, that is the best instrument in the world, our intellect, and we can know everything with that. Look what we understood from our intellect in thousands of years. And we will continue, and one day we will unravel the mystery of the whole existence, and we will get even the answers of who am I and so forth with our intellect. But those who examine the very nature of intellect, they see that it is not possible because of the limitations of those instruments. These are very gross instruments to penetrate in that subtle region, and thus we feel kind of stifled. We feel that frustration, that I cannot go further than that. I want to go, but I cannot go. This is the highest I can go by this use of my mind, body, intellect. That's it. And nothing more can be achieved. The Mundak Upanishad puts this very beautifully, and that is actually the point where Mundak Upanishad changes now to describe the path really forward is like this, that you observe whatever you can get here through the exercise of body, mind complex, and examine what you get. Pariksha lokan, karma chitan, brahmano nirvedamayat, nasti akritah kritena, tad vijnanartham sagurumevabhigachet, shrotriyam brahmanishtham. The meaning is that you examine what you have got after working so much. You have, just before this verse, it has been shown that through this instrumentality of intellect and mind and so forth, you can attain to various these spheres of demigods. You can conquer them, you will get them. So you got them. Now examine what you got. Pariksha means examine what you got. And then you see, what do you see? they are all impermanent. They are all just creating more and more bondage for me. It is in the name of more enjoyment I am accumulating more frustrations and more miseries. This is what I can get by this. Nothing more than that. That look, nothing beyond that. And these are all. Do you want bondage? This can give you bondage. No? Okay. Do you want to suffer? No. So this is all that you can get out of this. And they may be, very glittering, that's all. It is, do you want all this? No. A person who is observing all this says, no, I don't want that. Whether I am whipped with a whip which has a golden handle, or a golden stick, or just a bamboo stick. It doesn't make the difference. I have to suffer with pain anyways. I don't want any of that. No! That is called in Vedanta Vairagya, dispassion. No, I don't want any of this. That's it. And so you look for now the way ahead, and you feel, I cannot go there on my own. My instruments can't take me beyond this. I am caught. But I want. It is described in this yoga that it is a big leap that one has to take from this level of that navel to the level of heart. It is, you have to, it is a kind of a jump there. The ladder is broken. Up to this there is ladder. You climbed. But now the ladder is broken. You don't have an access now to the next evolutionary level of consciousness. It is your consciousness of I and mine is stuck just in this. You can keep on multiplying that, that's it. But you are stuck there. It is, many poets have described it, that like a beautiful novelette is there, The Little Prince. There the little prince sees a businessman who is collecting the stars in the starry sphere, and so is collecting the stars, counting them. So, and then he asked, how many did you count? Oh, so many, these are all mine. And what do you do with them? I just count. Our life is spent in counting, that it is. So, that is, the ladder now does not make us grow vertically. And so, we see that we cannot go beyond this. The ladder is broken here. But then our true divine nature, that wants to go, and that also has the other component that we call God. That exists. The true self, that exists. Now, you see, all our religious life is based on that aspect of the reality, the truth that one calls God, something that is full of compassion. That compassion stretches a hand of help. They fix this ladder for us, so that now we can climb higher. That is why you will see that all prominent religions in the world, they have a very special figure that started that religion, and that being who is human and yet not human. That being is worshipped or adored, respected in that religion, as if that is the representation of God. Some can call it like Muslims, to keep the distinctions clear, that is the messenger of God. And then Christians call it the Son of God. The Hindus call it incarnation of God. So it is all these are at one end connected to God, and at the other end they are giving us the helping hand. They are fixing the ladder for us. So then we can climb further. So therefore you see our religious life is dependent on that. Otherwise, howsoever one may try, we cannot get beyond these clutches of these senses, intellect, mind. We keep on circling only within that. So this is now, therefore, we should be ready to take their help. And why we do not take it? We are scared to give up the identification with this little self, identification with body, identification with mind. Although we can easily, with just by a few intelligent steps, we can easily understand by just common logic that I am not body, I am not mind, and yet it has a vice-like grip on us. We should be, ready to give up that it is, yes, I don't want it. I am not that. Let it go. It is anyway going to go. Let it go. So, then we are ready to take that leap. We are ready to actually take the help of incarnation. But God-Incarnations, they come to our level. They understand our difficulties. They live with us. They are like us. So, we can form a bond with them. We love them because their love is completely unselfish. And we see that they have a very different life than what appears before us. They have a communication with God, the ultimate. They are not miserable, or they do not suffer because like us. They are not identified with body and mind. So, but they are still human beings like us. Now what happens is that brings us an understanding that, okay, so maybe I also can become like that. They tell us, like you read Gospel of Sri Rama Krishna or New Testament or the advice of Lord Buddha, that when they tell you out of great love and compassion, you tend to understand, because that is one thing that with which we can get tied. only the intellectually enchanting sermons do not really tie us, but it is the love with which we get tied. So when you see somebody is telling you with lot of love, compassion and total unselfishness, then gradually, unconscious to yourself, you get tied to them. And then you are also unconsciously or consciously getting tied to the ladder that can make us now climb. It is that distance is now bridged. That ladder where it was broken is now fixed by these incarnations. So, like you see that in the picture, now these incarnations have kind of formed through their hands this ladder on which now we can step. That's a very beautiful picture. Thank you, Jitendra. It is that you can now climb on that. Thus, now your journey to the next spheres begin. Therefore, Swami Vivekananda mentions in Bhakti Yoga that, and I am quoting here, no man can really see God except through these human manifestations. If we try to see God otherwise, we make for ourselves a hideous caricature of Him and believe the caricature to be no worse than the original. There is a story of an ignorant man who was asked to make an image of God Shiva and who, after days of hard struggle, manufactured only the image of a monkey. So, whenever we try to think of God as He is in His absolute perfection, we invariably meet with the most miserable failure, because as long as we are men, we cannot conceive Him as anything higher than man. This is the time will come when we shall transcend our human nature and know Him as He is. But as long as we are human beings, we must worship Him as a human being. Talk as you may, try as you may, you cannot think of God except as man. And these are words of Swami Vivekananda, who had, as a college-going young man, had so much of faith in just himself that, okay, there is nothing like incarnation of God. All human beings are kind of equal. It is, but gradually he came to know this truth, that we have no other choice to accept, to take recourse to this helping hand given by human beings. And the problem comes, because we see these incarnations and just take them like us, forget their supreme nature, and thus we do not take their help to evolve ourselves. This is commonly happens in history. So Lord Krishna says, avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwara. They kind of disobey me. They insult me by not recognizing my supreme nature. They do not see that I have assumed a human form. I am not confined to human form. It is, two things are very different. It is a person goes to the prison to meet a prisoner, and tells him how he can now be released with these things. Now this person is also has gone into the prison, the prisoner also is in prison, but their status is completely different. So, similarly, this God incarnation is acting like a human being, looks like a human being, but essentially is divine. The awareness is divine. So, therefore, not knowing this, they think of him as another human being. That's all. Very nice, very loving, but then that they cannot use that for realizing God or moving onwards in this our spiritual evolution. So it is because of this difficulty we do not make the best use of the incarnation of God, and this happens due to human weakness. But we have to therefore see this, that it is like us but not exactly like us. You see in other faiths also, like this idea has been stressed in Christianity, that for example the book of John begins like this, how this Jesus or the Christ, what is this idea of Christ? Christ is a messenger who is connected with God, forms a connection with God, is in a way God, an extension of God. So how is it formed? Swami Vivekananda also mentions these verses or these lines from the book of John, and says that the highest philosophy is presented here. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made ever. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. So this Word and God. Word is an expression. Like I am using words to express myself. So Word is the expression of God. That Word becomes flesh. This continues, that the Word became flesh and made his dwelling amongst us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and the only Son who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. So this is how they transition from the all-pervading reality which is beyond mind and speech, finds an expression to communicate with us. That expression to communicate with those who are identified with flesh also become flesh and comes amongst us, and thus through that we find the way of liberation. Somebody who has come to deliver us, to take us to our goal of life. So make us free from this bondage. In Islam also you find the same idea very beautifully presented. In fact, I am quoting from the namaz that is recited by Muslims 5 times a day with a lot of devotion, regularity and so forth connected with that. They say, Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest. That is the whatever imagination you may have beyond that, Allah is the greatest. Glory to you, O Allah. and all praises are due to you. And blessed is your name, and high is your majesty, and none is worthy of worship but you. Now the attention is taken away from the worship of the money and the power on the earth. That is now to be despised. They are not worthy of worship. You alone are the worthy of worship. And then it further says, all compliments, prayers and beautiful expressions are for God. Peace be on you, O messenger, and God's mercy and blessings. Peace be on us and all the righteous servants of God. I bear witness that no one is worthy of worship except God, and I bear witness that Muhammad, his servant and envoy. The same idea that here is an envoy to deliver us. And with that one gets connected. And thus now we start our onward journey to liberation. This is, you will see it in the life of Rama, Krishna, all. It is the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, life of Sri Ramakrishna, that here is a human being, appears like us but not like us. Therefore, that question has been discussed in Tulsi Ramayana as well as the Adhyatma Ramayana, that how this is a human being. How can that be God? Maybe a powerful human being. Yeah, it is. We know, we have heard of that Rama, the son of Dashratha. And then he was very good at archery and very powerful. And then he was banished by his father into forest, and there his beautiful wife was stolen by that Ravana, and so he waged a war with Ravana and killed Ravana. That's it. What is God there? Where is God there? Well, you have to see that this is all just the play. In and through all this, if you penetrate, you will see the divinity. You will see the love. And thus you will be able to get tied to it. And then Rama will carry you beyond these bondages of mind, brain, and this sense organs. You will be transported to that level. It is, this process cannot be described. You do not know how it is happening, but it happens. Holy Mother said, suppose somebody is sleeping on a cot, and then the whole bedstead is lifted when the fellow is sleeping, and then somehow, while the person is still asleep, taken to somewhere a few hundred miles away. Now that person won't know, how did I come here? But that doesn't mean that person didn't come. You remember, I was there, now I am here. So you realize this truth, that your awareness has completely changed. The priorities in life start changing. The priorities connected with the body, that welfare of the body, and those connected with this body, like my parents, my spouse, my children, my so-and-so, and then my connection with them. The life gets all spent in caring for those things. And we take glory in that also, Oh, no, I am not selfish. I don't think much of myself, but I am thinking of my spouse. I am thinking of my parents. It is all my, my. that is connected with the body that has become my. It is not really you are concerned about yourself, and you say that, well, it is not me, but those who are mine. There is so much of I into that we become oblivious of it. It is something that I had mentioned that some time before, that one man said that and we were having a conversation, that he said that he loves his wife and children so much that if something happens to any of them, he will be totally devastated. And he was giving this as a proof of his love. And then when I saw his wife a couple of days later, I said, wow, your husband loves you so much, see. And he said, and she was, she's a psychologist, so she said, just pay attention what he said. If something happens to me, he will be devastated. He is worried that he will be devastated. He doesn't care for us as such, but because he will be devastated, so that is his idea. What I mean is that is we are caught in that kind of bondage, and we have to get ourselves ready to leap from there. No, there is the God who is there to lift you out from there. Just you have to take that hand and go. Come out of this mire. The ladder is there for you now to make your life really successful. And you see in Sri Rama Krishna that great idea again, that a human being, a most ordinary human being, in fact, so humble. And many would therefore think that, well, he is just a priest there, and even that he cannot do properly. Therefore, recently they have removed him from the job. But being somewhat crazy, they have kept him there, that's all. So, that was the idea of many, that he is a crazy fellow, not even a good human being. But here is the God appearing in that garb. So there is a beautiful discussion with M, that look, Sri Ramakrishna said that there is a vast, infinitely vast that region of earth and sky out there, but right in front of you there is a big wall. And now you cannot see that region, but there is a hole. So through that hole you can see some of that vista. So, you know what is that hole? And M, after a thought, pointed out, you are that hole. Through you, that is through the incarnation, one can see the whole vista, the whole truth. You go closer and closer. That discussion also is there in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. You go closer and closer there, and the more and more of that unknown region becomes visible to you. And then you come right to the hole. You can then get out of the hole. So that is how our connection with God, this incarnations established, put us on the ladder by fixing the ladder. Without their fixing the ladder, friends, it is a hopeless task, and therefore let our devotion be to these incarnations of God. Let us feel that connection. that here they provide me the path of further evolution. I get to the chakra that is the heart chakra, where I can see myself separate from body and mind. I feel that reality, that I am not this flesh. I am separate from that. You get the awareness that I am consciousness. So that is this considered the heart chakra. And then you go further from there, that you now go to the next level where you say that no, this is all subservient to me. I am their king. The body, mind they are, my instruments, that's all. You get control over them. So feeling I am different from them is the beginning of getting control. Otherwise, who is going to control whom? I am body, then well, who controls the body? I have no control of body if I am identified with body. And therefore, when you know that you are not body, the beginning of control starts happening. And then you can use body, otherwise you cannot use body. Body starts using you. We experience that, friends. So you come to that level in the throat where now you gain control over it. And now the ladder continues. It is now a much steeper slope that one has to climb. But there is the God to help us now. And now you come to the region. Sri Rama Krishna has described it so beautifully. You come that chakra that is described between the two eyebrows, where you see your true divine nature. But there is still a little ego. He describes that it is as if you and God, it is such a beautiful, most sublime, ultimate description of this stage, friends. There is just a very thin, transparent screen between you and God. You are almost there. Almost there. Like you are coming to say Vedanta Society. And then you are walking. You saw the building. You saw the door to get in. You are now almost there. Almost there. And then nothing can be described. Sri Ramakrishna, while describing, entered into samadhi. Nothing further can be described. But this is our true nature, and therefore we can attain. Each of us has the potential to attain to that if we make use of this help on offer. And that use has to be made properly. Not just playing with those incarnations and forgetting the purpose of their life. No, we have to take help of them and move forward and forward till we realize the goal. As Swami Vivekananda mentions, paraphrasing that those lines from Kathopanishad, that arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Come on, friends, let us hold this ladder being fixed or is fixed by the incarnations of God. And now move forward. Move forward. Let us say goodbye to all lethargy. All other things, they are not important in life. This is the important thing. And let us march towards that, not stopping till we realize our true nature. Thank you, friends. Let us meditate on these ideas for about 30 seconds. And then if you have any questions or comments, we can discuss those. Yes, please. Any question there?
Yes, Maharaj. Question from Annalisia. Swamiji, I'm still a little confused about what you mean by quality of growth.
Quality of growth, yes. The quality means here that something that is just within the realm of body, mind, senses, that is the one level, that quality. And then you have to go to the different higher quality. Like you deal, say, with fabric. Now, fabric of one quality you got, and then you made various different things from that fabric, where many different apparels and dresses from that fabric. Now, even though you made 100 of them, different shapes, different sizes, different colors, the quality remains the same. But if you are looking for a more superfine quality, now you have to get an apparel of a cloth, a fabric of a different quality, superior quality. So here, within the limitations of senses and mind, what we can achieve is only this much. It may have the different sizes and shapes and so forth. That really does not mean much of a qualitative change. The qualitative change, therefore, what I mean is stepping out of this prison, the life of prison, being confined within the intellect and mind. That is, howsoever beautiful it is. And then we may feel satisfied, okay, like one of our very close Catholic friends, very nice devotee. So she said in her school days, as she used to go to Catholic school, that they would get some sort of, punishment, but the punishment would be like, okay, you have to do 10 Hail Marys. And then they would, those little girls would take pride. Oh, see, you got 20 Hail Marys. I escaped with just 10. So now it is not a qualitative difference. So in the world, here some are, millionaires, some are homeless people, some, are very highly educated, some cannot even write or read. So that is not a qualitative change. Both of these, all of these, they are confined in the prison of mind and intellect. But the real qualitative change is when we step out of that and see the tremendous vista that our true nature starts manifesting then, which is beyond this prison. I call that as the qualitative change. Thank you.
Question from Paduka. Can you speak of the power of the word as you spoke of in the Gospel of John in Vedantic terms, or perhaps give us some Sanskrit imagery?
Oh, well, it is in the power of word is very much recognized in Vedanta. It is the word. Sometimes it is signified as Om. that Om manifest as the message of the Vedas. Also, it manifests as the God-Incarnation, that is the Om condensed or Om manifested as that sage or that incarnation of God is just a gross manifestation made of Om. Like we have here outside the Om on the glass. Looks like as if it is etched on the glass. It is, that is Om on glass. Now, Om made of flesh. There is the Om there made in metal outside in the balcony there. Now, imagine the Om made of flesh, blood, intellect, and that kind of material. Then that is the incarnation of God. So it is Om in human form. So that is the idea of word in Vedanta too. So this is in the Ganpati Atharva Shirsha, Ganesha Atharva Shirsha, you find the verses that how Ganesha is formed. Ganesha is the Om given a pictorial, 3D pictorial form, that is the sound condensed like that. So it is this word becoming flesh is a very important idea in Vedanta as well, although the words expressed are not exactly like that. Yeah. Thank you. Any other question?
Sri Shendu, question is, Sri Thakur used to say, the key of realizing Brahman is in the hand of Mother Kali or Shakti, and Mother always cares more than Father. Then why should analyze Brahman instead of Shakti Puja? Why should realize Brahman instead of Shakti Puja?
They are same. Sri Ramakrishna has also said this. And very often, if you read Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Brahman and Shakti are not separate entities, like fire and its burning power. There is no difference between them. So, the Shakti is that power which we can more easily connect to as mother, and that is why he is telling that the idea that God is mother, it is to show the closeness, but there is no really difference there between mother and father. This is a principle in Vedanta very often discussed, like Shiva and Shakti, that it is Shiva and Shakti, they are eternally united but appear different, that's all, where because as human beings we see male and female. There is nothing like that in the absolute. But since we are stuck in our physical understanding, we think of Brahman and Shakti as separate. But they are not separate, they are same. Depends on one's temperament how you want to connect. There are some who would like to connect through the father aspect, and some would like to connect through the mother aspect. So, Sri Ramakrishna emphasizes mother aspect more. That is true, but he does not deny the father aspect as such. Yes, thank you. Yes, Shrikant.
I have two questions. One is related to this. Why are there no women incarnations that we know?
They are combined together like Sita and Rama.
Prominence is not given as much.
Depends, how sometimes in Ramayana you say many give more importance to Sita than Rama. Even in Sri Ramakrishna's, so many they come to see the importance of Holy Mother and connection with Holy Mother more prominently. It depends, it is after all taking a form. So, the way it appeals, this society has been kind of revolving around the masculine character, and therefore it is pictured like that. But there is not that there is no women incarnation as such. So it is, therefore, there is that beautiful song which tells that you had been Krishna and Radha, you had been Rama and Sita before that, and you are Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. It is, all this is really not separate from one another. Yeah.
The question is, you mentioned that difficult to comprehend God as the ultimate reality, so we take these incarnations as a representative of God, whom we can worship and revere. But at the same time, the limitations of the tools that you suggested earlier apply to even this category also. To love them also is an effort required, and there's also again a wall that you get maybe that you cannot comprehend their fullest extent. So in what way that would help? One reality is another reality.
Let me put this question for the web listeners, that okay, it is that this limitations of the senses and mind, they seem to apply to when we say we let us love God or let us understand the God-Incarnation. Those limitations seem to apply there also. Yes, they apply there, but then they don't remain there. It is, if you connect with those limitations, if you connect to things in the world, certainly they will not help you. And here what happens is, although you use those very means, but now with those means, since you have connected to that now ladder that takes you up, you transcend those limitations using that. So this is how these capabilities are there to transcend these limitations by connecting to something higher. So it is something like this, that somebody is drowning. Think of that in the water, that person is drowning. Now, if that person tries to take the help of catching the fish in that water, well, that will not help. It will not be able to get that person out of the water, because that fish cannot get out of the water. So the holding on to the fish is not going to take that person out of that drowning process. But somebody who is giving a helping hand from outside and putting it right near that fellow, now he is using that same hand, same power, but now he is holding the hand of somebody with which, with the help of whom you will be able to come out of the water. So it is something like that.
But there is something within us that should relate to it or react to it. Like a
Of course, and that is
and that is inexplicable. We cannot generate it within us. It's more like it comes by itself.
because we do not know the process. But it is not exactly unknowable either. You see that we all are aware of this self, something that is not changing. We become aware of that, we are not able to find that. And seeking that is what makes us connect to it. So that is how this process takes place.
Is
Yeah.
the thirst for it actually
Yes, yes, they thirst for it. Yeah.
Maharaj,
Yes.
follow-up question from Shishendu. But why did Thakur tell that the world is the play of Adya Shakti to Swamiji? What was the problem then if Narendra didn't obey Kali?
Oh,
Thakur
yes.
was very much happy when Swamiji surrendered himself to Kali.
Yes, yes.
What was the problem
They-
if Swamiji was non-dual?
Huh?
What was the problem if Swamiji was a
Well,
non-dual?
yes, yes, and Swamiji remained non-dual. Embracing Kali does not mean Swami Vivekananda gave up non-duality. What happened is Swami Vivekananda now understood that very principle which manifests as both. This is otherwise it becomes, a one-sided knowledge. The God who is non-dual, the knowledge gets completed when you see that very non-dual manifest without any change as this the universe with multiplicity. That is the mother, the one appearing as many. So, and without any change, the one doesn't become many. The one, through the inscrutable power of mother, appears as many. This is the way that devotionally expressing the answer that many Vedanta texts give to this question, that how one Brahman became many. And Vedanta says, well, Maya, instead of calling it Shakti, and Maya is identified with Shakti by Shankaracharya, that it is a power. That power, through that power, this one appears as many. We cannot explain that. For more clarification, Shishindu, please read Swami Vivekananda's that one chapter in Jnana Yoga, the absolute and the manifestation. So, not that Swami Vivekananda then gave up non-duality. His understanding of non-duality became complete by accepting Shakti. So, this is what happened to Totapuri as well. So, Sri Ramakrishna became very happy because he saw that this young man, this Narendranath, is going to be his instrument to spread this message all over the world. And so the instrument had to be perfected. So now he saw that the instrument is getting to perfection, and so he became exceedingly happy. That is the reason for his tremendous happiness. And that is for everyone. If one wants to realize the truth, then these truths, the both aspects have to be taken together. The Nitya and Lila, the permanent and the impermanent appearance, both have to be understood together. Not that the two are separate worlds. It is that very thing which is unchangeable, permanent, that without any change is appearing as this changing universe. And if we understand that it is changing, it is impermanent, then there is no harm in that, because then we will never get attached to it. When we know something to be impermanent, then we do not get attached to it. Like our, say, seat in the plane, and we use it. We are given, say, some number, you will be sitting on 16A. Okay, that is my seat, you say, but you know that it is temporary, and so you do not get attached to it. You are in fact very eager to get out of it. But this world, why do we get attached to it? Why do we get caught in this body? Because we think that it is permanent. Not at the conscious level, not at the intellectual level, but somehow or other there is this understanding, this is I. And all these things connected with this, they are mine. We do not see the impermanence of it. We do not see that it is the manifestation of the non-dual self. So when we see both these, then one can attain to that state of supreme. So friends, let us now close with the closing prayers. But let me tell you, next Sunday, this Tuesday, we will be celebrating the birthday of Shankaracharya. And before our class on the Sri Rama, Krishna and his divine play, there will be a short song on, or actually by Shankaracharya. And next Sunday, we will be taking up some ideas from Shankaracharya, and the title of the talk is Atman Alone Abides. On Friday, we will be continuing to discuss the stories from Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us conclude with the closing prayers. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.